Hi YouTube, Dave here. I'm here out in my workshop, and today I'm going to do a quick video for you on the proper way to remove the side plate from a Smith & Wesson double action revolver, and also I'm going to show you how to remove the cylinder from it as part of that same process. So the revolver that I'm going to be using today is this. It is a Smith & Wesson Model 10, and the particular variant on this one is a Model 10-5, I believe. So I think this one was made in the 1960s, possibly the 70s. This particular revolver has a 4-inch, what's called a pencil barrel or a lightweight barrel. It has the magnet grips on it, which help spread the recoil out, compared to the older style grips where the grips just kind of came up to here. And you notice I have it open. The reason for that is, we always treat a gun as if it was loaded, and this way there's no possible way for it to fire. The first thing I did when I took it out of the container was to open the action. If you're not familiar with the Smith & Wesson revolver, the way that you do that is rather simple. So that's how you close it, and then here on the left side of the frame is a catch, and that simply slides forward. That unlocks the cylinder and you can push it out. Never flip it back and forth like sometimes you see in some old movies. That is really not good for the gun. So before I take this apart, though, what I'm going to do is I want to discuss tools a little bit. It's always a good idea to have the proper tools before you do any kind of gunsmithing work. So in this case, we need basically two kinds of tools. We need properly fitting screwdriver bits, and what I have here is a big set that I got. It's screwdriver bits, it's got a mallet, it's got a bench block, it's got some punches, and that's from Weaver. Get that out of the way, and let me re-aim the camera for you. Okay, so we see we've got a whole assortment of screwdriver bits. There's a bench block with grooves and holes, which we're not going to use today. Some drift punches, screwdriver handle, and a mallet or hammer, which has two interchangeable and replaceable heads. The one side is brass. The one that we're going to be using today is this one, which is made out of either Delrin or nylon, something like that. So the first thing that you need, though, is you need to have the properly fitting bits. And we are going to have to remove the grip screw on this. That one fits okay. And that one fits good for the side plate screws. Fix the camera a little bit. So now that we have those picked out, I'm going to just get this out of the way. It's always a good idea to have a well-lit and relatively neat and tidy work area. I know a lot of us, obviously me included, have some problems with the neat and tidy part of that. One thing, though, that can help you with keeping track of small parts is a little magnetic parts tray like this thing. It's basically just a metal tray with a magnet underneath. You can get these at any hardware store. I think I got this one at Harbor Freight. You can get them at Lowe's, Home Depot, you can get them online, whatever. But what I find is a very good idea is when you're taking something apart with small parts, including gun screws, you just put them in here after you take them out, and then that way it prevents them from rolling onto the floor into the zone of lost things. So the first step in taking the side plate off and removing the cylinder from the gun for cleaning and maintenance is obviously, again, make sure the gun's unloaded. can see that there's no ammunition in there. Safe to close. On this gun, we're going to need to remove 3 screws from the side plate. There's one here, and then there's one covered up by the top of the grip. So the first thing we need to do is remove the grip panels. Okay, screws out, goes into the magnetics parts tray. You see how the screw is stuck there. Then you can just, the panels come off. And then now you can see that screw that was covered up. This part here is a grip adapter. This was made by a company called Packmeyer. They're very famous for their rubber grips. They also do some custom gunsmithing, or they used to. I don't know if they still do. And this is sort of an old school way of improving the skinny grip on a service revolver, or any kind of a revolver. I happened to find it at a gun show a number of years ago, and I liked it because it's kind of old school and it's neat. If this was a gun that I was depending upon for serious defense or something like that, I would put better grips on it. But this, for me, is just a fun gun. So while I've got the grip panels off, before I get to removing the cylinder and the side plate, the other screw that I wanted to mention is there's a screw here bearing on the mainspring, and it goes in through the front of the grip strap. So maybe that's a better way to say it. And that's called the strain screw, or the mainspring screw. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because a lot of times on older Smith & Wesson revolvers, one way that people would try to improve the trigger pull was to back that out a couple of turns, loosening it up, reducing the amount of strain on the mainspring. And the problem with that is that it can lead to light hammer strikes, and you can get misfires. So that's not a good way to do a trigger job on your revolver. It's best to make sure that that is properly screwed in all the way. Now, the other thing that I should mention before I go start taking screws out is, if you get an old revolver and it's the first time that you're going to be taking it apart, it's quite possible that the screws could be rusted in place, or just somebody really cranked down on them. So it's a good idea to put some kind of a penetrating oil on there, let it soak for a little while, overnight, a couple days, that sort of thing. And then again, once you've got the properly fitting screwdrivers, that will make removal a lot easier. The one that I like is this stuff. It's pretty stinky, Kano Croyle, but it works really, really good. You can get this online. You can get it directly from Kano Labs. I think that's where I got this, or I possibly got this one. No, I bought this one at Cabela's. This can, at the time, 8 ounces, was $5. Little goes a long way. You can also use it as a bore cleaner. It's good stuff to have around the shop. If you don't have that, WD-40 will work, not as well. Liquid wrench will work. You can also make a mixture of automatic transmission fluid and acetone. Do about a 50-50 mixture, shake it up, stick it on there, and let it soak for a while. And it'll help loosen up screws that are stuck tightly. So I'm going to change my screwdriver bits. And the first screw I'm going to remove is the one here right above the trigger. And one thing to notice is that all the screws are different, and so that they should go back into the same place that you took it out of. Now, with that screw out, you can open the cylinder and just simply slide the cylinder right off the gun. That can allow allow some detail cleaning. If you have one and it's particularly nasty, you can just soak the entire thing in solvent. That's generally not necessary. In fact, what I'm doing here today is generally not necessary for ordinary maintenance. It's good though if you're just getting a new old revolver, and if it's dirty inside. For example, I have a Smith & Wesson Victory model that was built during World War II, and when I got it, the action was very stiff, and when I took the side plate off, it looked like it hadn't been cleaned since World War II. So let's take off the other two screws, and then I will show you the correct way to actually get the side plate off. It's also worth noting that on some of the older Smith & Wesson revolvers, there's one more screw on the side plate up here at the top. They replaced that with just sort of a tab that fits into a recess. I don't know when they made that change. Likewise, some of the older Smith & Wesson revolvers will have another screw going in here. So the Victory model, for example, has a screw going in through here, and there's a screw up here holding the side plate on. But engineering changes as they refined the design over the decades have resulted in the elimination of those two screws. So now you can get the side plate off. Now it's very important not to pry it up. These things are very finely fitted, and if you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to essentially booger up the joints, and you'll reduce the value of the gun by doing that, and it's just aesthetically it's ugly. So the way you get it off here is you vibrate it out, and the way we do that is you can use either a hammer handle or you use a non-marring mallet. In this case, you would use the nylon or Delrin, the plastic side of it. You give the grip frame a few taps, and it'll start vibrating it out, and then you can pull it out. So I'm going to do that right now. I need to switch because I'm left-handed, and try to make it so you can see it. And it's starting to come a little bit proud of the rest of the frame. And there you go. So that can, when you do that, sometimes the side plate will pop out just like it just did. Now the other thing is that when you do that, there's this small part here which is a hammer block, and it's possible that could fall out, come flying out, so you got to be careful for that. So that is how you properly remove the side plate from a Smith & Wesson double action revolver, one of the hand ejectors anyway. I don't know if this applies on the old top brakes. I don't have one of those. I've never handled one. So, however, there's probably about 10 million Model 10s and military and polices out there, along with the other ones like the L frames and the J frames and the N frames, and now even the X frame, the real large ones. And that's how you properly do that. Normally you don't have to do this as part of your regular cleaning regimen. If you do that on a regular basis, you'll actually cause extra wear and tear to the gun, so don't recommend you do that. Now, putting it back together, essentially it goes mostly in reverse. Where you can run into problems sometimes is getting the hammer block properly lined up. If you look at the inside of the side plate, I'm not sure if you can see this, but there is a matching groove. Now, if you haven't cleaned this clean your revolver in a while, or if it's new to you, you may want to just spray it out with brake cleaner. You don't really normally need to actually disassemble anything to clean this in here. Non-chlorinated brake cleaner works really good. It's pretty much the same as gun scrubber. It's a lot cheaper. So put the hammer block in there, and the hole matches over a little bit of a pin sticking out of the rebound slide. getting it back on is always a little bit of a trick. Which is another reason not to do it on a regular basis. Sometimes you need to give it a little bit of persuasion. Like so, because they are very, very tightly fitted. And so then the rest of it is just putting the screws back in. Make sure you don't put this one back in until you have the cylinder back in the gun. But other than that, that's how to remove the side plate and the cylinder from a Smith & Wesson double action hand ejector revolver. I hope you found this useful. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'm always looking to add some more videos and subscribers, and it's all about sharing knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you soon.